Now, when I tell you this story, we'll have a percentage of people saying, oh, Neil, you just defended the royal family. Doesn't matter what they do, they say, you're always out on the defence. The point of this channel is, right, that I like to tell you both sides of the story. And having been a journalist and worked in this industry a long time, I know exactly what people will do in order to get that picture, that look, and of course, that confrontation. You see, take a look at this headline. Right? You see this. This is, of course, Prince Andrew shouting apparently at workers on the Windsor estate. That's the headline that went around the world, right? And that's the headline that sticks. It's a bit like the fake Teddy story that sticks. The Teddies, I told you before, were for the daughters, but no. Everybody wants to stick with that particular element. Here's where this gets interesting, though. Let me explain. Morning, nice to see you. You all right? I'm all right, thank you. Not bad at all. Nice and warm here now. In, of course, the beautiful land that is the United Kingdom. I hope you're keeping well, whatever you're doing, and do take care of yourselves wherever you are. I know I often say this, but you know, you're very kind to me about looking out for myself. And as you know, in certain areas, I'm just really lucky. I get chatting to people, and there's some wonderful refuge cleaners who are all great. You know, Ed Wood, a particular favourite I know well, Winston I know well. All of those people, they just look out for you. And I say, you know, do you mind standing with me? Well, oh, no, we understand. And I say to them, don't get transfixed on what I'm doing. Do look around, make sure there's nobody coming up with a bike. But they're lovely. So thank you for all your concern. And of course, as I say, keep yourselves safe as well. I just wanted to explain this. You know, there's two elements to this particular story, right? You see this, as I say, Prince Andrew shouting at workers. Two things. When you look at the workers, he's not shouting at them at all. What happened is, and this is, I know 100% what happened, right? Basically, the photographers who were always hanging around there looking for those sort of particular pictures, they shout sort of profanities, right, at the Duke. And the bottom line is, you know, we're all human. If you say something wrong, you will turn back and either use a signature sign or whatever, or you might shout back. And this is exactly what happened on that particular case. Then they show the pictures of the workers. Now you'll notice none of the workers have actually come forward and said, yes, he said this, I was shot, blah, blah, blah. It's always, you know, mystery people that you can never absolutely pinpoint. And this is the other side to the story that I wanted to highlight to you. It's the story, for instance, about the alleged fight, right, between Harry and the Duke of York, Prince Andrew. Now, here's the deal. You see, that particular book, when they put the book back, they probably felt there wasn't enough juice in it, right? You know, Prince Andrew is not a seller. And we know this because Prince Andrew, the musical on Channel 4 I told you about, couldn't sell. Right, the two streaming things, only one did very well. Emily Maitlis's version, a very British or royal scandal or whatever, totally bombed, right? Nobody was interested. So what happened was the publisher went back and said, is there any sort of stories with Andrew and Harry? Suddenly, they went back to their sources. Suddenly, this source remembers this alleged fight, right? But what's telling about this, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, but I'd like to share it with you, is this person, the source, said, and the author has now confirmed this, all thanks to a legal letter, it was his belief that the story was true. Now, that's trust me, the pivotal point, his belief. If it were true, and this was what you were locking down, you would get a signed affidavit on that, right? You would literally have that story nailed to the mast. That is your headline story. So consequently, that's now faded away. I told you, Harry will not get legal with it because, you know, it's not worth it. And the bottom line is that got the book some traction. Interesting to note, though, that, as I say, Prince Andrew, not exactly a seller for people, and ideas that this particular book might be turned into a TV drama, a little bit missteppy. You know, there isn't an appetite for that, given, as I say, the previous three incarnations and documentaries haven't sold well. Everybody knows the story. And ultimately, there's a man who's now stepped out of the limelight, quite happy to, and so consequently people aren't happy with that because he's moved back and doesn't want to know, doesn't bother the media, doesn't bother the public, you know, lives as a private family member. But of course, there's always somebody that wants to rake up the coals. And the other side of that is, as I said, go back to the start of the video and you look and you say, cruel to some of the, workers. Simply not the case. But that's not the headline that sells, is it? It's always good to share with you, and as ever, there's going to be two sides on this video. Oh Neil, you love the royal family. I'm telling you what I know and what I find out, and share it exclusively with you. Neil Sean, Kensington, London.